Sir Keir Starmer's flagship welfare reforms bill has limped through its first vote in the House of Commons last night.
But that was only after a last-minute U-turn gutted the bill of some of its key proposals, including plans to tighten the eligibility of personal independent payments, or PIP.
Well, despite any concessions, 49 Labour MPs voted against, branding the whole process shambolic and unedifying.
I'm angry. This is no way to make legislation. What an absolute mess.
These Dickensian cuts belong to a different era and a different party.
I think that vote will hang like an albatross around their necks.
Well, now questions are being raised over whether the government will increase taxes further, as almost all of the £4.6 billion worth of annual savings the bill was meant to deliver has been lost.
Well, our political correspondent Catherine Forster is here with us in the studio. So, Keir Starmer will be waking up today. Will he think job done?
Oh, no, I don't think so. It has been disastrous, really, for the Prime Minister, I would say. Yes, they won the vote. I put one in inverted commas because basically to get it through, they had to pretty much gut it. There's very little left of it. And the central reforms, which were to save £5 billion on personal independence payments, have been taken out altogether. There's some minor changes to universal credit. There's going to be a review. Stephen Timms, the minister, is going to do that along with disability charities. Some suggestions from the IFS, the Institute for Fiscal Studies, that if anything, ultimately this might even cost the money. So a Prime Minister who said that it was a moral necessity, a moral mission. And here we are, no money saved, utter chaos, and backbench MPs basically ordering the Prime Minister around.
OK, Catherine, we'll be back to you in just a moment. Let's cross live to Westminster now and speak to the government, shall we? And the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, Pat McFadden. Good to see you this morning, Mr McFadden.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's talk about the welfare bill, shall we, that limped through the House last night. I mean, it passed, but essentially Sir Keir Starmer took on his MPs and he lost, didn't he? It's humiliating for him. Has he lost control of the party?
It's been a very difficult process in the last couple of weeks. Very impassioned debates in the Labour Party about this issue of welfare reform, as there always are. And where we eventually got to last night was taking forward those elements of universal credit reform that were in the bill, but taking that very contentious issue of PIP reform and giving that into a review led by my colleague Stephen Timms, the Disability Minister. He's an excellent person to do this, a very experienced, deeply compassionate politician, and we'll have to take that forward in a different way.
So how much money are you going to save with this bill? Have you actually been able to work that out, Pat?
There's definitely a financial consequence to the decision taken yesterday. If you're not saving money from this, it has to come from somewhere. All of that will have to be taken into the round, along with all the other government expenditure pressures when we reach a budget later in the year. I'm not going to speculate about that now, but I do acknowledge there's a financial consequence to the decision reached last night.
Aye, and if that financial consequence wasn't the consequence that you want, is there any point going ahead with this?
Yeah, there is, because there are still elements of this which are important in helping long-term sick and disabled people into work. We are an outlier in terms of the proportion of people in work today compared to the pre-COVID period when we look at other countries. So there's something that's gone wrong in the UK, and the elements that were passed last night will help to do something about there's almost an incentive at the moment for people to go for the health-related universal credit element rather than the standard, because the financial gap between them is so big. There's not enough employment support for people who are on long-term sickness or disability benefits. We believe with that support, more could get into work. So there is a point in going ahead, but it's been a difficult process. There's no denying that. There's no soft-soaping it. And with that most contentious element, we now have to take that forward in a different way.
And how is Rachel Reeves going to plug that gap of £5 billion worth in savings, which has now essentially been lost? Is she going to have to come back with tax rises in the autumn?
Well, I don't want to speculate about the budget. I've acknowledged that the decision taken yesterday does have a financial consequence. While that is a substantial amount of money, it's in the context of a much, much bigger government budget that covers all the departments, all the commitments, not just work and pensions. So she will have to take that into consideration in the round along with everything else. This is one element, one moving part, if you like, in a budget, but a budget has 100 or more moving parts, and what the Chancellor has to do is put them all together in one package when the time comes.
Pat, how would you sum up the relationship now between backbenchers and the Prime Minister? Is it strained? Is it soured? Is it repairable?
Look, it's been a difficult process, but I believe in being a team. You know, I chaired the election campaign that concluded almost exactly a year ago. We won that election as a team. The Cabinet serves together as a team. And even though this has been difficult, it's been fractious at times, we'll move forward from this as a team as well.
It's incredible, though, isn't it? If you think you're not even a government that's 1 year old, that's you're turning one on Saturday. That's your 1 year anniversary. But you must be worrying now, realistically, practically, how are you going to get things passed in the House? I mean, already you've given this message to Labour MPs that any sign of rebellion or controversy, that you will U-turn. You turned on winter fuel, you've U-turned on the national inquiry with grooming gangs, you've now U-turned on this. We have the Prime Minister himself talking about islands of strangers and then saying that he regrets that. So U-turning on his own speeches now. What message are you giving to your party?
Look, I think reflection on things is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. And there are many nettles being grasped. We have grasped the nettle of planning reform that stopped or slowed down building in this country for years. We're pressing ahead with new nuclear power stations that have been held up for years. We're starting the turnaround in the NHS. And today, by the way, we are announcing the biggest expansion in social and affordable housing for a generation. And all of that's only possible because of the leadership of the Prime Minister and the Chancellor and the Deputy Prime Minister in putting their shoulder behind the wheel of those decisions.
Yeah. Tell us about these housing plans that you have, because these are very, very important, Pat. They, you know, for the country to move forward in terms of, you know, just finding homes for people in general, finding social homes for the population, which we're very short on. What are you planning to do that will change things?
Well, in the spending review that took place a few weeks ago, the Chancellor set aside £39 billion over the coming years to invest in social and affordable housing. And we hope through that to get 300,000 social and affordable houses. This will make a massive difference to the constituents of every MP in Parliament. We all have people at our advice surgeries every month, overcrowded, maybe living with their parents and so on, looking for a council or a housing association flat. This is a step change in the provision of social and affordable housing. I would say it's one of the biggest unmet needs in the country. Yeah. It's very corrosive to people's hopes for their future. So today is a plan of hope to do something about that in a big, big step change from anything that we've seen for decades in this area.
Well, good luck to you, Pat. We hear what you're saying, and we'll talk about it again sometime in the future. Always a pleasure talking to you. We've got to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private internet access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private internet access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Well, listening across to that is our political correspondent, Catherine Forster, who's still with us in the studio. What do you make of it, Catherine?
Well, really, what he didn't say, when you said, has the Prime Minister lost control of the party, Pat McFadden, one of the most experienced people in Labour, didn't say no, of course not. He simply said it's very difficult. And also on the money, how much has this been saved, you said, Eamon. He's admitted, basically, if we're not saving money, there will be a financial consequence for the decision reached last night. And he said, I believe in being a team. The public cannot stand to see parties fighting amongst themselves. But, you know, a message has been sent to all those MPs who won last night. They can push the Prime Minister around. If they don't like stuff, they can just vote against it. So it's very difficult to see how the Prime Minister and the Chancellor get back on the front foot from this.
Interesting times, Catherine. Interesting. I know you're across this all day, and we'll hear from you throughout the day. Thank you very much indeed.